Mike, what was the first match we played in the same team?
95 out in Limerick.
Oh, that's all.
Yeah, with the crochets.
Yeah.
So,
It's a great first
played
game.
at Thomond Park.
That's right.
Yeah.
The game was crochets against the Limerick Leprechauns.
I know we won by 50.
I still got their
points.
tie.
Yeah. That was good weekend.
It was brilliant. It was, the game was in Limerick, wasn't it? And there was a Wales-Ireland game on that same
I think it
weekend.
probably 96, cause I think I came here then.
Yeah, following
May, yeah. So
that's right, I was in Sale then
Yeah.
as well. And you were still in Cardiff.
Yeah. We do the pint, can we?
Yeah, better, much better. Great weekend.
Yeah.
I like this. If we could relive one game we played together in, what would it be?
It'd have to be Newcastle, wouldn't it? Newcastle here.
Newcastle, yeah, great day, wasn't it?
Yeah. 7,500.
That big far side was just a big stand across which was packed. 5 or 6 lions to be, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A couple of months later out in South Africa. Full star-studded Newcastle side. You could always tell when I was looking in the warm-up, they were professional. You could tell they trained together. We weren't at the time. We were pretty semi-pro.
We had woolen socks, didn't we?
Yeah, about 5 of us turned up on a Thursday, and then the rest Thursday morning to train, and the rest came in Thursday evening, didn't they? But you could tell Newcastle, they were full time, weren't they? So it was a great win, that was. I remember Pat Lam hitting me in my throat. She says, my throat is still bad now, actually. Pat Lam elbowing me in the throat and trying to do an interview after, and nothing came out in the interview. Nigel Stammer-Smith, I don't think they recorded it the following day because they just couldn't hear anything I was saying. My voice had gone completely.
But the biggest memory was Frank Warren's ring girls, really, weren't it?
They all changed in my office, didn't they? Which was peculiar, actually. Never told anybody, but I was quite shy. I was out of there pretty quickly. They were strange days, weren't they? Good days, great days for the town, but strange days. You know what was happening one day to the next, really. Did you?
What is your favourite memory from playing together?
I always thought this wasn't playing, but for ages I never made the squad in Wales. I made it in about 1982-83 season, but Gareth Davis was the incumbent then, and nobody was going to get in ahead of him. He retired pretty quickly. Dacey came through, and just when everybody said to me, and it was about when you were becoming involved in squads, everybody said to me, now's your time, and then Jonathan Davis appeared.
Yeah.
So that lasted. And then obviously he had a bad time and they lost at home to Romania, and they called me in the squad, and I think I met you really, because back in the day...
I think it was 89, wasn't it?
88 they lost to Romania at home, and he said he was still in the squad, but he went north pretty quickly after, and that's when I got my chance. But although, I talk about this regular, in Wales, we didn't really know each other as well as we do now, and that was mainly geographically. It was really hard to get from one place to another in Wales, and so we knew the Cardiff boys, we knew the New boys, not really socially, apart from once a season or twice a season. But if you can remember, we went on a warm weather trip
to Valencia.
I think that's where we
met.
Was
there the Probables Possibles?
It was like a warm weather trip pre-Six Nations for the Scotland game and then the Ireland game, wasn't it? And I don't think either of us made that, but it was a meeting for the first time. We had a couple of socials.
Yeah, I think I told Simon Thomas in Wales Online the story about Mark Jones, or something. No, Mark Jones' story came out the other week, didn't it? It was a great article, and I remember him picking up from a scrum from 50 out, and he just took off, and everyone dived out the way, and he running up as fullback, and I was showing him the outside, but he flipping ran over straight over the top of me. So I remember it vividly, actually.
It was a great, introductory to a lot of players who I played against and like never really knew. So that's when we got together for the first time, which was brilliant. But then the Valencia and Lanzarote trip became pretty infamous with Wales, didn't it? With the Mike Griffiths.
Yeah, it was on the Lanzarote even as well. But that was warm weather.
So it's not on the field, boys. This is off the field.
Valencia definitely wasn't warm weather.
Yeah. Lasting memory in the changing rooms.
I tell you what, when you dropped me in the CAC was here against, I don't know, it was London Scottish or I was somebody, and
did I bollock you?
no, you didn't. You just the referee knocked the door. You disappeared, and you went take the team talk.
Oh, was it?
Just like it was one of them.
Was it?
But also just seen you near Budgie Smugglers after every game, and not only that, I seen you in a pub in Leicester at Budgie Smugglers. So there's some pretty vivid memories. But the team talks were always legendary, full of Welshness. It was fantastic.
It's still the same. I can remember. We'd beaten Coventry away, and it was a tough place to win, the old Camden Road, and we went up there, and looking back at it, I think Yappy came on and dropped a goal. Ben Weston used his usual poaching tries, and then we got on the bus, and it was the start actually of what you say now you've got going for you with the club. I know not in this period, but like when you go away from home, it's probably pretty good and lively on the bus.
Yeah, well, that was the thing when I came to Bedford. It was obviously, when you played in Wales, you played in a 60-mile. The first you went was Llanelli, weren't it? So you didn't go very far, and the bus trips weren't that long, so you have to stop off in a pub. But when I came to Bedford, that was the biggest social part of the week. Jumping on a bus and spending 3 or 4 hours with your teammates.
Oral, Waterloo, Coventry, Nottingham, all those sort of. It was. So that Coventry game, I can remember, we loaded the bus up with beer, and I think we got as far as the Three Fishers in
Turvey.
Turvey. I just got a distinct sort of memory of looking across, and I had my Budgie Smugglers on, and there was a family with 2 young kids, and they were aghast when I got my Budgie Smugglers on, and it was only about 6:30 in the evening, wasn't it? And Gareth, I think Mary was there, and she screamed. I think Mary usually screamed.
Well, where did you used to get your Budgie Smugglers from?
Pat Harris.
Pat and Steve Harris.
Pat and Steve Harris used to get me regular budgies, leopard skin ones with a zip down the front.
Enough of that, come on. It's all been recorded, isn't it? It's mad, isn't it? Ragging ourselves.
It's good though, isn't it?
Last in memory of me on and off the field.
So the old Mikey Ray years ago used to be, it wasn't a drinking all day thing. The old Mikey Ray in Wales was selling the dummy and going and selling a no-look dummy one way and going back the other, and about 5 falling for it. And everybody used to laugh, and he used to do it every week. So kick downfield to him, regather the kick. Like, it's a bit different these days. There's more of a chase and all that. But like, there's always one chaser, and Mike would just like swing one way and go the other way down the blind side, and everybody would giggle. And that became a Mikey Ray in Wales.
Yeah, well, I was Ringo really. I followed him and copied him.
And 7 years later, you back
probably swapped over because you went to Dragons, didn't you?
Yeah, I went on the Dragons for. I served a spell down there. 6-year spell, and then by the time I got back here, it was like, I think I came up here once here with Harlequins, didn't I, and played you?
Yeah, you probably did.
And then we came a year or two later with the Dragons as well. So, but they were, the 3 years, 2.5, 3 years, they were great times, but they became difficult times obviously when everything happened with Frank. But great club, and you were right. If you've got some great support off your chairman and your board, then it's the right place to be.
Right. Who did you prefer coaching? Getting Bedford promoted to the Premiership or getting Ampthill promoted to the Championship? Ooh, that's a good question, isn't it?
There were 3 actually. Sale, I did the Sale thing as well, and they've never sort of gone back into the second division. I think Bedford was a little bit different. We brought stars like yourself, Martin Fire, Rudy, all those boys in, and we had to gel them, and it didn't work for a year. We lost in that playoff in Bristol, and then the following year won it by I think March. So that was really satisfying. But we'd have been under real pressure if we didn't win it that year, because we, you know, I think we spent quite a bit. And
but what you've done with Hampton, it's got to be a special. I mean, every journey you've gone on, every season. I mean,
yeah, it's,
you know, you've missed a couple of playoffs, but you've gone from what, level 3, level 4. You know,
yeah, you know, there's some.
it's been a hell of a journey.
I think we've had a good relationship. You've loaned us players on the way, and you know, I can always remember. Sort of, we used to go to places like, which are good rugby clubs, Sandbach and Bourneville, who've re-established themselves now as a part of the Birmingham setup, and you know, Syston, sides around the East Midlands, Nuneaton, all those sides. We've been through all those, and then brought sides, quite famous old rugby clubs like Redruth and Henley and Clifton, and you know, and then it was Blackheath and Rosslyn Park and all those as we've climbed through the leagues. But I can always remember you saying to me, because we sort of, a couple of your players came over and joined us, and Gully and Brendan Burke came over. Pritch obviously was very good, came over with us. And I always remember we used to do scrummaging sessions with you over here, and like, my boys were a bit ragtag, and they were obviously semi-pro, less than you were boys, and we used to come over here. And I can remember that centre who's in Gloucester now, whenever I see him play, he's a good player actually, said to you after one of the, I wasn't here, and he said to you, Mark Atkinson, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What did he say? Can you remember? So apparently we shoved you off a ball here in one of the scrums, and that probably wouldn't have been possible at that time. I wouldn't have thought.
You had a good pack then, eh?
But you said, Mark, because you were backs apparently, would always give you a forwards a lot of stick at the time, and he said the moment we got shoved off the wall by Ampthill, that's the end of us, sort of thing. Right?
Yeah, I'll tell you another one about him, because you're right, because we played a game that season and we couldn't win a line out, and all the forwards come out with a meeting, and to be seen by 2 backs lifting Aki in the line out, pretending to catch the ball.
But those times, you know, where you gave me some loan boys, and we were getting them from Saddies, you know, we had Ben Earl, Nick Ezekwe, we had Justin, your open side, if you can remember.
Blanchard
played for Canada. Obviously Gully came over, Brendan Burke came over, Pritch came over, and there was that sort of relationship, but we never ever thought that we'd be in the same league as you, to be honest. You know, what probably sort of made me think was when you invited us over on the Boxing Day, and I know you didn't have your full side out, but it wasn't a bad side really.
No. Well, we thought we were going to be in your league one year because we were going the other way.
But that was a great day, that was, you know, because I think you came back in the end, and it probably made us think we could go on the next step. And of course, the following week, we lost 49-48 to Isha, where our scrum half kicked the ball off thinking we'd won.
I saw that the other day.
He kicked the ball off where we thought we'd won, and like I just couldn't believe it. And from that day on, we never lost a game. We went right through, I think it was 15 more games, unbeaten, and then it was right, we may have dropped ourselves in it here, boys, so we've got to really sort next season out. So yeah, look, I've got a great relationship, and I think we've started to introduce something like a Bedford Cup, or the best team in Bedford, where my club would never ever dreamt of being in the same league as you boys, you know. So it's been great for us. We aim to go further with a new development ground, hopefully in the next 2 years, and who knows what can happen after that. But no, it's good. It's great the relationship. Who will finish higher this season, Bedford or Hampton?
That's a terrible question.
I knew it is. How do you know that with no games played?
That was a terrible question.
What do you think?
Rugby's going to be the winner. Look, the one thing about this season is it's just a short season, isn't it? You can't go and express yourself in a season like this, then, you know, we all want to win games, but I think just a chance for, especially in March and spring, and almost wanting summer rugby at times, there's a great chance to go and play some rugby. Certainly that's be our philosophy, you know.
Is it a cup?
Yeah.
Have you got a cup?
Well, there will be. Depends how we go
What
in.
was the jewellers in Llandaff? What was the jeweller shop? What was it?
Oh, I know. I've got
It was one in Newbridge. We used to go to just to get a cup.
Sia Sports in
CS
Canton.
Sports, right.
I get on the phone.
You could buy trophies there. Good.
Just in case.
Well done. Cool, man.
How much did you miss rugby in lockdown?
Oh, I can remember there was sometime in lockdown when I was watching Dusseldorf against Borussia Dortmund on a Saturday afternoon because there was nothing on and it was a live game and I was just like, I wanted to watch it. I just wanted to watch something. And it was the Bundesliga. That was the first thing that came on. When rugby started, I think I got used to watching rugby without
Well,
crowds.
that's the problem. You just get out of habit, don't you? You know, and it's just you just need your Saturday, don't you? Just need your fix. You know, watch it on TV. It's been pretty good. The actual Premiership, watching it recently, but some games you can take or leave, can't you? Because it doesn't seem to be the atmosphere.
Most games with sides like Bristol involved
Yeah.
and maybe Exeter at times, you know, I like watching. I think I phoned you, didn't I? I went out to Zante on one of those Saturdays where there was games
No,
from
you
1
sent me a
o'clock.
video having a pint by a pool watching the rugby. That's what you did.
1 o'clock. There was a 1 o'clock, it was a 12 o'clock game. Sarries was still in the league then. It was Sarries against someone at 1 o'clock. Another game at 2:30. There was another game
Super
at 3.
Saturday.
I was like, another game at 5. And then there was one at 7:30. And like, I watched them all, sat outside. And there's a big screen. And I had a tab. It's brilliant, it's brilliant. Oh, that's... I can't answer that.
Both backwards to finish on
He's
there.
doing
Or-
different positions, weren't we? I say that.
What's the question?
Who's the better player, you or me?
Oh,
Oh, it's
for
terrible.
God's sake.
It's terrible.
It's not for us to bloody judge, is it? That's for other people to judge.
I could never defend him if I was playing against him because he had such good lines. But I could make him chase the ball.
Well, I was going to say that was the other opposite. I would never forget running around Rodney Parade, Dave Parade rather, trying to, because he left and right footed for a fullback, absolute nightmare. And I've never felt an idiot so much in my life with Rodney Parade when he put me in the bottom right corner, the new clubhouse end, and
Just kicked it down
you
there.
kicked it down there. I was wrong footed, got there late, and then Newport on me, and I thought I got to get this ball so he can't take a quick one. So somebody grabbed my arm, swung me round, but I actually threw the ball at the crowd.
Give us a penalty.
Yeah, well, I didn't realise I was still in play,
Yeah.
but I was just sheer panic because of the pressure you'd put me under. And I've never panicked before on a rugby field or ever since. So very embarrassing to the chorus of E-O,
Was it?
E-O. Oh yeah, they give it to me big time. But yeah, look, play left and right footed fly half is a, let's say fly half, out to that. Yeah. Be living
But
here
cutting the line, you couldn't, if you had a good sort of passer who could go to the line and time it, cutting the line, there was no one better.
Look, I made my whole career out of pretty much Mark Ring and this guy, put him into space. So it was more they would I could see the space, but I knew they could and trust them to put me in it. But to much to my amusement, he did give plenty of people bollocks, so they didn't run in the same hole.
Lots of stories, isn't it?
It's been good, but
Yeah, good. Thanks. It's, we'll get at it again Saturday.
nice one, mate.
Good.